every time when the budget is announced, the discussions revolve around infrastructure development, what has been allocated for other ministries, and also direct and indirect taxes. But allocation to ministries is very significant, and particularly to Ministry of External Affairs, because that ministry particularly aligns with India's idea of Viksit Bharat, and it also helps India in establishing and fostering global relations on a wider scale. So we'll try to understand that what has been the budgetary allocation for Ministry of External Affairs this year, and what has been the contribution or what has been the changes in what India contributes to other countries in forms of aid. Now, the total allocation for External Affairs Ministry has increased. It is actually 20,516 crore for this financial year, which is almost like more than 15% of what it was allocated last year. When it comes to the contributions to different countries, it perfectly aligns with India's policy of neighborhood first policy, where India takes care of its immediate neighborhood. And in that particular list, Bhutan leads the table in terms of getting maximum funds from India, and which has only increased from 2,068 crore in last financial year to 2,150 crores this year. And India keeps taking on developmental projects in the immediate neighborhood, and more than that, it also keeps providing different kind of aid to boost the infrastructure projects in the neighborhood. After Bhutan, Maldives. We know that how our relations with Maldives have changed in the last 1 year. We saw President Moizu coming to power on an India Out campaign, and after he after he got into power last year in 2023, he had announced that Indian army or Indian defense personnel should leave the island country. And later India started recalibrating its approach. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi came to office for third term, he was invited for the swearing-in ceremony, and after that India has been continuously working with Maldives to ensure that there is reduced Chinese influence in the island nation. So what happens to Maldives in terms of aid? India will now give them 600 crore for this financial year, which is 200 crores more than what it was allocated last year. After Maldives, coming to Afghanistan, we know that we don't recognize the Taliban government there, but still in the last 1.5 years, we have seen that India still continues to engage with the Taliban government, and recently Mr. Vikram Misri, the Foreign Secretary of India, met the Afghan officials in Dubai. And you see aid to Afghanistan, though has it declined from 200 crore, which was announced last year, to 100 crore this year, but it continues to be an important part when it comes to trade for us by bypassing Pakistan or its land route. After Afghanistan, it's Myanmar, another neighborhood which is marred in conflict. To say the Rohingya conflict is there, and even then India has increased its allocation for Myanmar from 250 crore, which was allocated last year, to 350 crore in this budget. From Myanmar, there are many countries in our neighborhood for which the budget allocation has remained unchanged as compared to last year. When it comes to Bangladesh and Nepal, Bangladesh, we saw a regime change there, and we saw the friction when it comes to diplomatic relations between the two countries, and yet India has not decreased the aid to Bangladesh. And the same goes with Nepal, which is also one of our close allies in the neighborhood. Now, aid to African nations. Aid to African nations has also increased from 200 crore in the last financial year, or the budget which was announced last year, to 225 crores. Marginal increase, yet very significant, because African Union was inducted as a member of G20 when India hosted it, and Prime Minister's special insistence has gone to see that African Union also happens to be the member of G20, another global bloc which is gaining relevance on the global platform. Now, this is the most significant, or you can say a massive increase in the allocation is on the disaster relief allocation. Last year, that was just 10 crore, but it has increased to 64 crore this year. And in the last 1.5 years, we have seen that how India has been on the front when it comes to aid, providing aid to countries which have been hit with disaster. Very famous, we remember the Turkey's earthquake. India was one of the first countries to have assisted or sent aid to the Middle Eastern nation there. Besides that, India keeps aiding or providing disaster relief fund to other countries. We have seen floods in Africa. We have seen what is happening in Congo right now, and other African nations. as well as in Middle East. We keep providing aid to war-hit nations like Lebanon, in Gaza, in Syria, and other different countries in different continents. So this allocation has increased in this budget, and this has been the massive increase from 10 crore last year to 64 crore this year. And that brings us to end of this segment. So perhaps this budget allocation from Ministry of External Affairs and contribution to different countries will continue to serve India's purpose, not only just for the neighborhood first policy, but also helps India to foster its relations with other countries.